I'd like to take you on a tour of my garden here in Lewes, Delaware. We purchased this about 6 years ago. The house was built in 1730. Most exciting for us was to transform the garden. One of the first things we needed to do was figure out what kind of fence we wanted. We found a photograph of a 1730 fence. We copied that with some changes. And you can see it's made out of cedar. It's quite simple. And it really, like a frame on a painting, is what this really does. This is the inlet part of the fence, which will take you into the garden, to our front walkway. Notice the walkway taking us from the front gate up to the front door. The walkway is made with all recycled materials, the brick and the limestone. And the thing that's really important is to notice the gentleness of the steps. They're not like real steps, they're just really a pleasure to go up and down. There are a lot of nooks and crannies where we can put plants in to make it all very garden-esque. And it's here year-round, so it really adds to the overall beauty of the garden. This front area, when we first got this property, was completely all lawn. What we did is we got tarp and we laid it over the lawn. We kept it on for 6 months. When we took it off, the lawn was almost dead and it was warm out, so I sprayed it with white vinegar and it did the final kill on the lawn. Then I was able to get organic compost from a great source and spread it all over this garden area. It turns out we have fabulous drainage here, and so the combination of the compost and the sandy soil, this is the most perfect soil I have ever dealt with. The vision for this front garden was to fashion it after a colonial dooryard garden. A dooryard garden was essential to an early American household. It was the place where you put the essential herbs that you needed for medicine, for food, for tea, for flavoring, for almost every aspect of your life. And you needed them close, and so you could walk out the front door, get whatever you needed, bring it inside. So that was the inspiration. It's not an exact historical garden, but it did inspire this design. There are 4 kinds of plants that are included here: herbs, native plants, fragrant plants, and pollinator plants. Notice the walkways as you look down on this garden. On the sides are beautifully curved walkways that allow you to get into the plants, not only to see them, but to harvest them. And they have been covered with crushed shell. This was a very typical walkway feature in a Lewes garden, and it's such a wonderful crunch when you walk on it. This is one of my favorite plants. It's sweet goldenrod. Sweet goldenrod, once upon a time, was a very important tea made from the leaves. Sweet goldenrod was voted as the state herb of Delaware because of its herbal use and its nativity here. One of the ways the garden has a lot of color and randomness is from self-seeding annuals. This euphorbia snow on the mountain, it's very old-fashioned as a garden plant, and I got it at a flea market for $1, and now it's all over, and I really love the way it looks, so I let it reseed and I pull out the extra seedlings. Also, the salvia coral nymph right here, that's a reseeder, and it pops up, and so you kind of get a randomness, which I think is very fun. For fragrance and flavor, I love lemon verbena. It just is so delicious. I distill it in my still, I cook with it. This red canna also came from a flea market on the side of the road, and it does so well here. I love it because it's tough. The hummingbirds love it too, often hovering around it. Fountains are a kind of theme for us in our garden. We actually have 6 of them. We love them because they're cooling in the summertime, and also we try to make water music, so we get the really nice sound of water falling. The water here just recycles, so it's really not a lot of maintenance. But one thing that's so nice is the layers that you get of this water. We don't get mosquitoes because the water is moving. It's really low maintenance, and it has a sense of timelessness. And I think timelessness is, to me, one of the most important things I want in my garden. This fountain also really does have a great sense of age because it has this old piece of marble here. This was a gift to us from a Turkish friend, and it had been brought over from Turkey. It's 400 years old. The fountain was designed for that piece, and we also decided to place it right near the porch so that you'd have the sound of water while you're sitting on the porch, and then you would get the coolness, the water feeling as you're reading or whatever you're doing on the porch. One of my favorite treasures is my lotus plant growing in a container. This flowers beautifully and it has these stunning leaves. And in the winter we take it inside in this antique container, which we also got from a flea market. There's something really cool right above us. Here it is. It's a hardy pomegranate, and it's about 12 or more feet tall, and it has edible fruit. This pomegranate cultivar is called Salavatsky, and with a lot of sun here, they ripen. We can eat them, and it's beautiful in every season. That's the thing about pomegranates. They have gorgeous flowers, beautiful fruit, great fall color, and it's astounding that it's hardy. This beautiful plant is being trained over this archway so that it helps to define moving from one garden area into another garden area. And it was a gift from the man who bred the plant. It's an albizia called Chocolate Fountain because it has this very beautiful chocolate colored foliage, which is very fine textured. It's a perfect tree for this training, but it's a tree that is on the watch out list because it's an introduced tree. It's very weedy. And so should I take it out? Can I keep it in? It's a dilemma that so many gardeners face. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to cut off the new flowers. When it flowers, they'll be removed, so no seeds will be spreading to the neighborhood for albizia to be coming up in every nook and cranny. One of the noticeable aspects of this small bed here is that all of the plants have completely grown together, and as a result there's almost no weeding to do in this bed. And this is really, I think, the goal in much of the garden, is get your plants so happy and close together, no weeding. If you look behind me, you'll see a crabapple tree. And when we purchased the property, the owners told me, you're going to have to spray that throughout the growing season. Well, I didn't spray it, and I think it looks fine. Now, I don't need perfection from my plants. I want them to be happy and healthy. If they get some insects or they lose some leaves, I'm okay. I can put some compost on them. And now, because I haven't been spraying it, it has birds' nests in it. This is my fairy garden, and I got the idea to do this because there are kids in the neighborhood and I wanted them to have fun in the garden. And this garden really stimulates their imagination. And so when they come in here, they light up and they play all kinds of games, rearranging things, and I hide things for them. I say, "Where's the pig?" And they have to find the pig, and they can make associations of what's here. You can see there's a kind of road here with a town with houses. But all of this came from flea markets here and there. And because again, I love reusing and recycling. And it is just fun to have a fairy garden. And to me, anything that you can do with children outside that stimulates their imagination, it's a great thing. Our final garden area is a kind of enclosed garden. The area just kind of spoke to us like it really wanted to be a courtyard. And a courtyard is a kind of secret garden. The centerpiece of the courtyard garden is this gorgeous fountain. It's a replica of an antique Italian fountain. And we love the beauty of it and the sound. It's slightly raised up, which is very important so that we can view it from the kitchen. And also that it makes the kind of water sounds that are peaceful to go along with the overall inspiration for this garden space. To match it, we picked out stone that had some green in it so that it would tie in with the fountain, and very carefully made sure that the patio and its proportion to the space were just right. And I think you should notice the arrangement of the rocks because it's very thoughtfully done so that the patio is very much a part of the beauty of the garden. The plantings in this garden are really interesting. The bananas are the premier plant here. The red-leafed bananas are so stunning. And we do take those in during the winter to make sure they don't die. This is a hardy banana in the middle, and that is very happy with pups coming up all over. So I'll point out a few plants, but notice there are not any flowers, and it's all contrast of texture and color and shape, and that's what it's really based on. So for example, we have the beautiful white-green leaves of Fatschedera, and then we have these gorgeous purple-black calocaceous. And the rounded leaves of the farfugium that are variegated look so great in front of that purple. And then for the contrast here, you get the spiky acorus in front of the rounded Ligularia / farfugium. And so this garden this is what we envisioned. We wanted a courtyard filled with a tropical feeling and a feeling of lushness. And it's been slow in coming, but we are getting there, and we're really happy to see this finally coming together. I hope it's been interesting to move through our Lewes Garden and see what we've created in the last 5 years. We have a lot of interesting plants, and at the same time we've tried to use really meaningful designs that are expressions of what we love and what we care about, and at the same time to create surprises and a journey, a garden journey, so we can move through and see what's happening every day. And I think most importantly is to create spaces like the courtyard that really impact the way we feel. And here in Lewes, I really want this garden to have a sense of belonging to the house, to the neighborhood, to the place. And I want it to seem like it's always been here.